What's up, guys? Welcome to Digital Artist React, and today we're gonna do the second episode of the Behance Picks. If you're new to the channel, the Behance Picks is works that I selected from Behance. If you don't know, if you're not on Behance yet, if you work with digital art or CGI or anything, you should be on Behance because Behance is the biggest platform of works and portfolios around the world. Okay, today we're gonna look at the work of Recon Farmhouse, which is one of the biggest studios around the world, one of the most traditional studios. They have been doing this for over 30 years or more. I don't know, because when I started to follow their work, they were already like global leaders, and they have two characteristics that describe their style. They combine CGI and photography in a photographic way, always following the rules of photography, even when applying CGI, even when creating crazy visuals. And they also they work with photographers all the time, so they try to trick your eye on that. And honestly, I think they're the biggest studio that does cars nowadays, because they do a lot of BMW, a lot of Mercedes. I feel like every new car, concept cars, everything that you see that it looks good and it's a new launch for a new car, you probably would imagine that is Recon or somebody else, but most of the times it's Recon. I'm a big fan of their studios, and today I brought this work from you guys, which is done by Marine Poncer, Sebastian Staub, Alessandro Padalino, and Recon, which I think this is all from France because Renault is a French company, and I think they team up on that to create this work that I'm going to show you guys. Before I dive in on this, I want to tell you guys a little bit about when you work with cars, and especially when your car doesn't have a color that is very defined, like for example red, blue, green, yellow, whatever. In this case, the car is silver. So every time you work with a product that doesn't have there like a big color or anything, what you want to do, you want to introduce this product, in this case the car, in an environment that this car is gonna catch some lighting that is coming, because silver is gonna absorb whatever atmospheric effects are happening there, and this way you can bring a little more life to your scene. And another thing, when you're working with products, especially with cars, that it's a thing that I've been studying for a long time, and I noticed that usually when they do cars, they usually pick up a location or they create the location in CG, whatever process they use. But I feel like the location where the car is shot, it's always really important. Why? Because the car works really well with lines, with geometric shapes. As you can see here on this background, which is cool, they have this geometric shape. Okay, they have some reflective materials on the yellow part here, and which is also cool, that helps the geometric shape, it's how they did the lighting. Because you can see on some areas we have the highlight going here, and we have shadows that helps define where you look in the scene. And on this case, I think was a really clever way to just show and put emphasis on whatever they want you to look. For example, let's just start analyzing this one. You have the shapes of the building here converging in this line. You have this line created for the highlight here. So your eye goes directly to this part here. They have even some reflections from the car on the shadow here, which is pretty cool. So now that we kind of describe described what I believe is the strategy that they took, let's dive in. Oh, before we dive in, I feel like, because knowing Recon and researching their work for a long time, I even went to their website to try to see if they had some sort of breakdown there showing the process. In this case, they didn't have, so I'm gonna make my own assumptions. Okay, I believe in this case the car is CG, and we're gonna go through everything because I still have a little bit of suspicious that the whole environment is CG too. But let's see the whole project and let's talk about the points that we covered previously. All right, here you have the car again. Look how this helps. Remember I talked about the highlights on the ground? You have this line coming through, which guides your eye to the car. You have this shape here, this shadow, making sure that everything behind the car is darker because the car is silver, so the car is gonna pop, and the way that the car is gonna pop and is gonna receive some warm light from the sun that is coming this way, but it also, this big piece of metal here is responsible for the bounce back that comes to here. So that's why you have all this color here on the car, because it's reflecting from here, from the left side. Cool, love this shot too. Let's see again. Oh, now they introduce people. Okay, so that makes me feel like this might be a real location, but let's keep it going. I think the people are real because probably a photographer from France. I really like the style of photography on this. You notice that they keep the same aspect and same look and feel, especially when you work with people. This is really nice. We have the highlights here, we have the lines going down, kind of dividing on their neck there, so it makes you look at their faces. And this is another shot. Again, such a nice lighting coming from the left side, generating these cool reflections on the ground. And you see the like a fine line here coming, and it's guiding your eye directly to the car. Really nice. And here the background. See, that's why I feel like this part can be CG. I don't know. Or maybe they just killed the blacks there. Nice. Look at this, a little more aerial view, and you have the car as the center of the show, and you have the people walking. You notice that even if this is even the car being CGI, the shadows have a similar value. They have a similar color. They have a similar blur on them. Of course, this is a little bit darker because it's covering more. We're assuming that is almost like a sun that is a little bit to the right but really high, because you see how the shadow is behaving. And again, you see how, for example, because if this scene didn't have this yellow part here, you would miss a little bit of color and you would not have this nice color bouncing back. So for the fact that they have there, that works like a big one of those photography things that people use to like bounce back the light. That would be like a gold one, but huge. So it helps a lot in your scene. And again, you see the highlights on the ground. And they kind of make a path that is coming this way and guiding your eye to whatever is happening in the situation. This is, I believe, pure photography, but this is beautiful. This is beautiful. I love the angle. The angle of the shot gives you some dynamic, shows some dynamism. And when you see, again, highlights, guys, the highlights cut off, and you see that cut off perfectly on her face and then coming back. This is really nice. You can see the details on their face. The retouching is done in a nice way, but not overly clean. This is not what Recon does. They do realistic feel and always with a photographic approach. This is the last one. oh, this is cool because this has a little bit different from the others, which I kind of like too. It seems like the sun is a little down, so you have a strong light, but not rich in the yellows as you had previously on the other ones. You see how rich this yellow here, you see how rich here. Here, not too much, so here's more like the other one. But because you don't have a lot of shadow here, this area catches your eye and you see this line coming down, which divides perfectly the people. It lets you pay attention to their faces. And another cool thing, you see the bounce back here. And another cool thing is that this time in the shadows, they introduce a little bit of magenta and a little bit of blue, which helps because on the other ones, because you had the sun so high and they were not able, because the shadows are still a little warm here. Here, because you have a little bit of cancellation of the light, allows you the shadows to catch more light and produce this duality on colors. All right, that's it, guys. Today we revised this awesome work from Recon Farmhouse. If you don't follow them yet, go to their website. They are amazing. They do a lot of work and they have been inspiring me pretty much my whole career. You're gonna see they do clever work. Visuals are always incredible and they always try to trick your eyes. All right, so I hope you guys enjoy. If you enjoy the channel, subscribe, help us subscribe on the channel, and also share with your friends. All right, so I'm gonna be back next week with more cool works.